I had a client, Chris, came to me and he's like, what would you say if I said I wanted you to do something that was all about your vision and a piece of art?
Never had a client come to you and say, you've got a blank canvas, right? Was there any, like creative, like brainstorming going back and forth between you guys? Or
So the point of this process was really to let Brett express himself in the way that he wanted to.
Dude, this is a dream come true. Do you want to do something that's really cool and really outside of the box?
Brett has always been a fan of our product line.
everything's already built into it.
Yes, that's one thing that Stilo, I think, has done a fantastic job with their helmets.
Stilo in Italian means style, right? So naturally there was a great fit just in the thought process.
I think collaboration is sort of the name of the game now. In this episode of The Creative Drive, we sit down with visionary designer Brett King of Brett King Design and Preston Folkestad from Stilo Helmets. Our first segment is with Brett King, a name known for transforming racing helmets into rolling works of art. But this isn't just about cool paint jobs. It's about the story behind the art and his story. In this episode, we reveal a first of its kind called the Canvas Project, a brand new, never before seen steel helmet Brett designed, purely from an artist's expression. Think of it as a canvas in motion. Here's my interview with Brett King and Preston Folkestad from Stilo. Brett King from Brett King Design.
Yes.
Welcome to the Creative Drive.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's kind of a long time coming because we've been talking about this project that you've been working on for a while now, and I'm really glad that you're finally here in the studio with us.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
We'll talk about like your background and all this kind of stuff, but so can you explain to us the Canvas Project? Like what is this big box that's like right behind? I think that's the first thing people are going to start wondering. Like, what is that thing in the back?
So the Canvas Project. So it's really cool the way that this kind of unfolded. As a designer and an artist, it's always your dream to be able to create art, right? And art that is you and speaks about your journey and your vision of what, is going on in the world. And so the difference is, though, with Brett King Design, every job that we do is essentially a collaboration with a client. So they come to you and they're like, hey, I want a helmet in this style and these colors, and I want my name like this, and you know what I mean? And it's always catered to that individual.
Yes.
Which is great, and it's fun to kind of be able to flex your design muscles and give them what you want, but it still have the vibe and feeling of my art.
Right.
So the way that the Canvas Project came to be was that, whenever, say, for example, I would paint something for myself, you're posed with that. What do you do? You know what I mean? There's so many styles that I love, and obviously, my favorite color is blue, but I love obviously a bunch of different colors. So it's really difficult to pinpoint, what you want. So the way that this kind of transpired was I had a client, Chris, came to me, and he's like, "What would you say if I said I wanted you to do something that was all about your vision and a piece of art, like a piece of fine art," right?
Yeah.
And I was so intrigued. I was like, wow, on one point, I'm like, dude, this is a dream come true. And then on the other side, it's like, oh my goodness, what do I do?
Right.
Yeah. And
well, you've never had a client come to you and say, you've got a blank canvas, right? That was the whole thing, right?
Literally.
Yeah.
And it was funny because that first talk, when we talked about it, we talked about it, and Chris is a business guy, so he understands the the complexities of that. And he's like, well, why don't you just do it? He's like, I don't care what the budget is. I don't care how long it takes you. just do it and create something that's cool. And that kind of got my juices flowing, and then thinking about, well, how could we really make something special out of this? Because it is a special thing, and it's something that I'd thought about in the past, but never being given the ability to do it.
Right.
And this was that time. And so I just said, hey, well, why don't we make like supporting merch and like a capsule collection, and I'll make like a really cool, box. And create something super cool. And so it's like a thing, and we could make it a series, and we could do more. And so that's essentially what has transpired of all this. And so it's been really cool. So that's really how it's kind of came to be.
Yeah.
And so, I called it a canvas project because it's a blank canvas and, art, and kind of all fits together. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is Racer, your all-access pass to the best in motorsports, performance, and car culture. Get Racer Plus for live races, extended highlights, breaking news, and fan-favorite build and enthusiast shows, all in one place. From Formula Drift to off-road mayhem.
A full-blown nail-biter.
Supercars to grassroots brawls. Garages to rare collectors. Stream it all, anytime, anywhere. This is about machines and the people who move the culture forward. And when the screen fades, the story continues in Racer Magazine, a collectible trusted by champions, creators, and connoisseurs. Every page, a deeper dive into the soul of speed and performance. Racer Plus and Racer Magazine, the ultimate bundle. Built for the obsessed, powered by passion.
The helmet is usually where the driver can express themselves, right?
Yep.
Because the car, your suit is every pretty much like the team decides like what the car and the suit is going to look like with your sponsors and things like that.
Yeah.
And the helmet is actually where the driver can express themselves. The only place usually, right?
Typically, yes. Yeah.
And how does that feel like when a driver comes to you and say, you're going to be my expression, right? Like you're basically going to represent like all that can be seen of me, in this car, because the helmet is pretty much the only thing that's sticking out. That's you.
I mean, I think it's humbling. I'll say that because obviously he trusts me enough, and I've actually worked with him for many, many years, and I did helmets for his son Matt, who is a very fantastic driver, youngest kid ever to race in Le Mans.
Yep.
So which is very cool. So yeah, no, it was very humbling, and I think that's the thing. And that's part of, I think, the mindset behind this whole thing is that breaking boundaries and evolving not only helmet design, but the way that it's thought about. Because I think that's the thing, us as human beings, we like comfort. And in comfort, it's always the same standard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, even with helmet design, you look at helmet design, when I first started this business back in 2011, I was doing some designs that people were like, it's too outside the box. You know what I mean? And I would have to go back to the drawing board, and it was frustrating as a designer because you're like, man, this would look so amazing. Right. But, you got to respect what they're comfortable with. I get it. So to me, this project and this concept is to change the industry essentially, and change the way that people look at helmets. Yeah. Because you do get other artists out there, say like somebody like Daniel Arsham. He's an incredible sculptor, more modern, new school guy that does some really fantastic stuff. And he collaborated with Lewis Hamilton a couple of years ago, and they did, his helmet. Yeah. And, does that look have anything to do with Lewis? No. Yeah. But, obviously Lewis respects art, and he respects design and style. Yeah. And so it was something he was comfortable with doing. And I think that's how this can evolve, because, you can only design a helmet so many different ways. You can put chrome on it, or, neon colors, or you can get super intricate with patterning, but at the end of the day, what does it really all mean? Are you just doing something to do it, or are you doing something for a reason?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with this. It's allowing me as a designer and an artist to express myself, and just like a painter would, and then you get art collectors that buy art, and that really it has nothing to do with them, but they love the art, and that's why they buy the painting.
Right.
So this is essentially the same thing, and but it's just I don't feel that's ever been brought to motorsports or helmets in that way.
Yeah.
And so why not?
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
So
it's packaged like a piece of art here.
Yeah.
Right? So tell us about this packaging here.
So again, Daniel Arsham, he's a bit of an influence to me. He creates these really cool pieces, and I've seen him do a couple of them where he creates like a cool crate. Like he did one with Tiffany and Co. And it was like this really cool crate. And so I didn't want to copy that style of crate. So I was looking at all different kinds of shipping crates and stuff. Yeah. And I saw this style of crate, which is typically a pallet. So it's typically
it's
a
cool.
really big.
It's like it has the slots for a miniature
pallet jack, which I could have used pulling it from the parking structure to here. But anyway, so I figured it would be kind of fun to build like a little miniature pallet, version, and get some straps for it and stuff, and so it's a cool display piece, because I'm sure he's gonna put this somewhere and display it, because why not?
No, it's cool. It's a cool box, and the helmet obviously is inside it, all packaged.
Correct.
And is it consistent with the design of the helmet as well? We'll reveal it in a second, but like, what was your inspiration in terms of the design of the box?
It was more like I really love modern design and architecture and minimalism in a way, and so I didn't want the box to be, too flashy or crazy. I just wanted it to be techy and minimal. And but it does have like certain things like on the numbers and stuff that mean things. So it's got its own little story to it. And also like I got Schramm Yacht Club, which is the ad agency that shot the sizzle reel, which is super cool.
Cool.
So I give them a little love, and Stilo and whatnot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the concept behind it. It was
and
just
Stilo is the obviously the helmet manufacturer.
Correct. Yeah. So Stilo pitched in to help with this project, which is really cool because they make some fantastic products as well.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
That's what it is.
All right, then without further ado, let's reveal this thing.
All right,
let's do this.
Okay.
So the inspiration behind this design, what was your, what were your inspirations? Like what are we going to look at now?
So my inspiration for this helmet was to create something that speaks to like events in my life and things that happen that are significant. You know what I mean? Okay. And so I utilized numbers to do a lot of that. Okay. So like the main number on the side, this is actually 8, 15, 11. I actually put that on every single helmet that I paint.
Oh, okay.
But in a different font than that, and it's actually cut in half. So people, when they see it, they're like, "Oh, what's this?" Yeah. And it's like, "Oh, it's just a little Easter egg,
Okay.
So I like to use numbers, but I mean, there's numbers from like the year I graduated high school, the year and date of my marriage, the day our child was born. Cool. Old racing numbers from my past in BMX racing and motocross and all this stuff that I used to race. And then different things like all the shapes of the helmet were actually all derived from the logo, so the Brett King Design crown logo.
Oh, right.
So every single angle and shape on this helmet, for the basis of it, is built off of that. Okay. So they're all put together and in a way that just kind of works aesthetically. and then the gradient lines signify transition, and change and evolution in life.
Right.
So, going from the way I used to do things to the way that I do them today. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, life is always evolving.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
and I think that's the thing. It's like I've had such a shift in perspective, about who I am and how I view the world.
Okay.
Since when I started this company till today, I feel like a completely different person.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Which
Yeah.
is cool. I mean, obviously I'm still who I am, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. There's a lot of things that we all experience in our lives that make us who we are.
Okay.
And and there's a patterning on it that I'll be able to show you as well that is literally all of the coordinates of places, cities that I've lived in throughout my life.
All right.
So instead of putting, Irvine on it, you put the coordinates of Irvine.
I see.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's insane and almost embarrassing to say this, but I've lived in over 30 places in my life.
That's awesome. It's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's a lot of moving
Yeah.
around, but I mean, and so I think that's the thing. It's a story though, and it's my
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
and you
It's
know what
you.
I mean, and
It's
it's
you.
who I
Yeah.
am,
Yeah.
and it shows experience of my life, and so that's really what this thing's all about.
Cool.
And yeah,
Let's look at it.
all right.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
All right. Canvas project. First one ever.
Yeah,
Oh man, oh God, look at this thing.
yeah, it's pretty. Let's grab that.
Woo!
Yeah, it's a wild
Look at this thing.
helmet.
My God. Chris McMurray's going to have the coolest helmet ever.
I mean, in a way, I hope he never wears it.
It's a
maybe,
piece of art. I mean, I don't know how he's going to wear it. And
especially in a radical.
it's going to get scratched up like on the first lap with like pebbles and,
he's
debris and sand.
He
and,
sent me a picture of his last helmet that I did for him a few years ago, and it looks like it got shot with a shotgun on the front of it. But I'm like, are you really gonna wear this? Like, maybe you could wear it a prototype, maybe, but So yeah, no, it's really cool, and it was fun to do. All the different colors and
look at okay. I got to ask you, like, how many layers of paint and like, how many layers did it? Well, how did you build this? Like, I want to hear the process of like how this is even possible.
So essentially, I mean, there's at least, I would say, 5 different layers. I mean, the way that I approach helmets is almost like Photoshop.
Yeah.
So, but there is an aspect of painting where you can't just layer stuff, on top of each other and keep going, because you start to create too much mill thickness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which creates weight.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
Obviously a helmet, you don't want it to weigh
Needs to be-
an extra 2
But this
pounds
is a
in
carbon
paint.
fiber helmet, so it's light to start out with.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, but then you also run into, quality issues. Like, if you start getting too thick on your paint, then you start burying your chin rivets and, you know what I mean? And that type of stuff just doesn't really translate well into something that looks almost factory finish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because that's really what I try to do with everything, is try to have it like look like it was made like that from the factory.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, there's at least 5-6 levels of paint on this, as far as doing stuff and then doing more and elaborating on it, and you know what I mean, and then the satin gloss finish on it as well. So yeah, you're constantly kind of adding, embellishing, kind of figuring it out as I go.
Yeah.
Which is much different than your typical helmet that I paint for a client, because once I create, so I do the design in Illustrator, and then basically I'll have to transfer the design to a helmet, but you really do that by eye. It's not like you can just print it out like a vinyl wrap,
Right.
So you got to kind of try to keep the same aesthetic and scale on the helmet. But like I said, on those traditional helmets that I do for clients, I can't deviate from that original design, because that's the approved design.
Exactly.
Right?
You agreed on a design with the client, and it has to be transferred exactly how.
Exactly. Yeah. Because if you're like, oh, I'm going to throw this extra fade or color or this detail on it, they're going to be like, well, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So that was what was really fun about this too, is that it's like, okay, well, that looks cool, but this actually is going to look a lot cooler, and, you know, and then do it. And then like, wow, okay, that looks cool. How can I add to that? And whereas, you know, a typical helmet, you're kind of capped.
Yeah.
And this, I wasn't capped at all. It's like, okay, well, I can do whatever I want.
Right.
But I don't want to do too much, you know? So, so that's.
Yeah, I see the numbers and the coordinates here on the side here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it was fun kind of going back and typing it in, and then like looking at, you know, places I used to live. Because I actually, you know, when I was a child, we lived in just outside Cape Town, South Africa for a short time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, you know, and then looking back, and that's the beauty of Google Earth now, you know, you can go back and look at places and be like, wow, that's changed.
Yeah, look at my old house. Right?
Yeah.
Where
I was
used to live.
like totally like standing on the street looking at my old house when I was a kid when we lived there. And it's so cool, you know, what technology has been able to do.
How about the colors? How did you decide on the orange and the blue? You said blue was your favorite color, but
blue is definitely my favorite color. But the colors also, say, like, for example, the orange, yellow, and red. That kind of speaks to California, because, you know, I lived here for 20 years, and actually my first house that I bought, it was only like a mile from here.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny in Irvine. But yeah, so the colors spoke to that, you know, like California, and then also the grayscale and muted stuff. I like tonal things, you know what I mean? So I thought that would be kind of neat. And the blue and whatnot. So yeah, that's kind of how the colors kind of came about, and they accent each other really nice as well, like the orange and the blue. And
so what does this 27 mean? Because that's like it's right in the front.
So that's actually my birthday day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, so that's that. Then 9/29. Where is it? 85. That's Tiff's birthday.
Okay.
01/16/25. That's our son Braden's birthday.
Okay.
All these numbers.
001 because that's the first canvas.
Yeah. That's actually on the front as well, like on the nose.
Okay, right there.
001.
Right.
So obviously the next one will be, you know, 002.
Yeah.
So that's how that kind of came about.
This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful helmet. So how did you start though? Like, did you always, you said you were into BMX, but like, how did you start painting helmets?
So I started racing BMX and riding BMX very young as a child. Actually, my first BMX race that I did was in South Africa, which is kind of hilarious.
Wow.
You know, and but then, you know, when we moved back, I moved back to Canada because I'm actually born in Canada.
Okay.
You know, I would go ride bikes all the time, and then I ended up, we moved out to Vancouver, ended up meeting, my sister was dating a guy that raced motocross, and that was my in, you know, and because I'd always loved motocross, like it was just cool, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's how I started racing motocross, and so I started racing 80s. And, you know, I wanted my helmet painted because I was always artistic, and, you know, in school I was always thriving at art. And, you know, Troy Lee had, you know, his thing going on back then. Yeah. And, which was, you know, in early 90s. And, so I was like, well, you know, I guess I could do this myself. And my dad was a body shop painter in the past. So he's like, I'll help you figure out, you know, whatever it is you need. Right. You go to a body shop supplies place to buy body shop paint, you know, that type of thing. And so I painted my helmet, and then all my buddies, you know, liked it, and they were like, dude,
do mine.
You hook it up. You know? So it just snowballed. And, you know, next thing you know, I was like 16, 17 years old, and I'd like created this thing, you know what I mean? And then suddenly I was painting all the guys' helmets in the Lower Mainland up in Vancouver. And then I started working with guys like Ross Peterson and Blair Morgan, who ended up becoming like the X Games snowcross god, you know what I mean? And so him and I are actually pretty close friends. And it just kind of snowballed, you know what I mean? And then next thing you know, I was doing all this different stuff, and You know, that's how it kind of came to be.
It's do you design other things besides helmets as well? Like it, I find it kind of similar, not as intricate, but like, you know, surfboard design is sort of like similar, where you use a lot of tape and, you know, like spray paint and things like that. But do you design other?
Oh yeah, no,
items?
definitely. So my history, I painted helmets for the first, 8 years. So just before, out of high school, I started doing it. And then I actually got offered a job back in '99 to move down here, and that's why I came to California to help start a company called Felt Bicycles. And so I was the creative director there. So I started with Felt. There was only 3 of us, and it turned into what it turned into. But I was there for 13 years, and so I didn't actually paint helmets during that time. And but I'd painted a couple like out of the back of the warehouse, and because I was doing some downhill racing and 4-cross racing and mountain bikes, and so I painted a couple of helmets for myself for that. But yeah, that's kind of how I got back into it. I ended up breaking my leg pretty bad. And so I was like, well, I've always wanted to do shifter cart racing. So I went out and bought a cart, and that's how I kind of got going again with the helmets. And, I painted my own helmet, went out to the track. Actually, Paris Raceway, I went out there to go drive one day. And Dakota Dickerson, I don't know if you know him, but he's a kid. He raced in IMSA. I don't know what he's doing right now, but his dad was like, man, he saw my helmet and he's like, dude, you should like do this. And I was like, I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was like, because I felt I was making good money, and it was I was a creative director, and I went to work 8 to 5, and you know what I mean. It was kind of cushy, and
it was a job. Right?
And I knew
a job.
I knew the path that this would take me, and but I was like, you know what, maybe I'll paint a few helmets on the side to kind of pay for the karting.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Side hustle.
Yeah.
Right,
And but next thing you know, it was like boom, I had 8 jobs instantly.
Okay.
And I was like, I was thinking about it, I was like, man, should I do this?
Okay.
And that's kind of what led me down the path to just making that choice to do it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, you know what, if now that I have the experience of a startup company like Felt, and we ended up turning it into something pretty big, and I was like, man, if I just use those same concepts and ideas and approaches to things, I could actually probably create a pretty cool little brand. And that's kind of what I did. So.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And how long ago was this when you launched your own business?
2011. So that goes back to this number, this 8/15/11. That was the first day of business of the company. And
it's on the mugs too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The mugs. Yeah. So yeah. The merch is fun.
Has it always been kind of like, has it been easy, or have you had some like challenges with running your own business and your own design studio basically? It's
been tough. I'm not going to lie. Financially, it's been really tough. Because it's art. And also you're capped by what other people charge. Yeah. Because unfortunately, it seems as if a lot of people look at it like a commodity. They look at it like you're buying a pair of gloves from Sparco. Right. And that's not really what it is, So they're like, well, this guy's going to do a helmet for me for, $1,500, or this guy's doing one for $25, or, why do you charge what you charge? Yeah. It's like, well, you might not be getting the same thing. Right. Just because there's cars doesn't mean all the cars are a Honda. You also get Paganis. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And our art is all different too, right?
Exactly. And it's not to say that one art is better than the other, but
they're definitely valued differently though.
Exactly. Paintings are, for something from Da Vinci obviously would be worth something more than, somebody else. Yeah. So not that I'm comparing myself with him, but
but it's there's value to art, so it's not a commodity.
Yeah, exactly. And also quality. I mean, quality is another thing too. I really disassemble these things down to make sure that the quality is flawless, and you're getting a truly beautiful piece of art. And that's the thing. It's been a struggle, and it was very consistent up until COVID, and then after COVID, it was like there was a spike right after COVID, and then obviously our economy has kind of taken a left turn and gone, you know, very difficult, and this is a luxury thing. You know, guys would much sooner spend money on tires, you know, honestly. And so I think that's a thing. It's a very specific thing, and if you know, certain people are willing to spend money on it and certain people aren't, and you know, so I mean, that's a thing. And there's also an influx of people painting now, whereas, you know, back in 2011 when I started, there was maybe 20 guys in the country that
really?
did it.
Okay.
Now it seems like there's way more.
I see.
And I think that's one thing as well that helped me stand out was I had a good capacity to design and paint. And where you're seeing now what's happening, a lot of the helmet painters are actually partnering with designers that are good designers.
I see.
You know?
I see. Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. You're starting to see a kind of an evolution in the industry. And so, you know, that's kind of the deal behind all that.
So when a client approaches you, and, you know, unlike Chris, who says that, you know, do what you want to do.
Dream client.
Usually, yeah, right? He's a dream client, right? Usually they sort of have an idea of what they want, right? Or right? What do you do when their ideas are like terrible? I'm sure you've had these, right? It's like,
well,
you know, like I want to, I don't know, but you know,
yeah.
what do you do?
So that has been a how would I phrase this?
It might be a difficult question for you to answer, but I'm sure that's happened though.
It is and it isn't. I mean, boundaries.
Right.
At the end of the day, you know, number one boundary: I will not copy somebody else's helmet. I don't care how much you love them, and I don't care what you pay me. I will not copy so and so's helmet.
Got it. So they'll come and say, I want Senna's helmet, right?
Yeah. And I have, to my, you know, defense, I have painted one Senna replica helmet back. I think it was in like 2012. I did one for a guy, but I haven't done anything like that since. So that's out there somewhere, but it doesn't have my name on it. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really like anything else. I think you have clients that you jive with and clients that you don't. And so I am pretty picky about who I work with, you know, where I think before in the early years, I would take on any jobs, you know what I mean? And I would just kind of try to massage it.
Right.
But there comes a point where it's like, yeah, this just isn't a good fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, you know, there's plenty of talented guys out there that you can go to and maybe take it to one of them and they'll hook it up for you.
How long, by the way, how long did it take for you to complete this piece of art?
A lot.
Yeah.
So this job, I mean, all design, you know, the production of it and everything else. I mean, we're close to 300 hours on this, which is an incredible amount of time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a lot, but you know, I think it has worked out, you know, quite well. So, yeah, it's the thing. People don't understand that about painting. You know, they hear prices and they're like, what? Why is it so much? And I think they just don't understand the complexity of painting a helmet because you have things like wraps nowadays, right? Which wrapping is completely demolished custom car painting.
Right.
And so I think that's the thing. People don't understand how much time it takes. Because say, for example, some mask outs just to do one color, it could take me 12 hours to do them, just the masking on one color.
Right.
And then that's just one color. So if you have 15 colors on a job, you know what I mean? That starts to add up. Same thing with design. I mean, you know, I could throw a design together in a handful of hours, but do you want to do something that's really cool and really outside of the box? And, you know, well, that's going to take more hours. And so I think that's the thing. It's it definitely starts to add up.
I was looking at your Instagram and the detail that you go through with the tape and with the blade the razor blade that you use.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be so scared of just like scratching it. Like, how do you even, like these thin lines right here? Like, how do you do this? Like, how do you do that part?
So all of these thin lines, so what I actually do for that stuff is I use a plotter. So I have a vinyl plotter, and so I use that to make masks.
Okay.
So I'll draw up the pattern or the numbers or logos or whatever it is in Illustrator, and then I'll output it to my plotter, and I'll cut the masks.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, when you're unmasking it, like if you look on there at some of the stuff, yeah, I've been playing with razor blades for so long.
Right.
Sometimes I freak myself out because I'll have one like in the palm of my hand, and I'll be doing stuff, you know, and I'll be doing stuff, and I'm like, dude, you have a razor sharp razor blade in your palm of your hand, which would cut tendons, and you know what I mean, it would slice you up good if you weren't careful. But you know, knock on wood, dude, I've never done that, and it's just you know, you just kind of do it.
Yeah.
I had a guy working for me a few years ago, and he liked to use X-Acto knives.
Okay.
And I was always like, I don't know about that, dude. You know, if you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, one day he dropped it, and it dropped into the top of his foot. He stabbed his foot.
Oh, it just dropped in his.
Oh, yeah, dude. Like, you know, but I was like, well, he kept using it after that.
Yeah,
But
I've seen people with X-Acto knives, you know, doing some really, you know, intricate stuff. But like when I see your, you know, the videos that you have, I mean, you're just using a blade with like two sides and just like just going through it like really quickly.
Yeah, no, it's like anything else, right? You just get comfortable with it. I mean, you know, it's like an IndyCar driver going 240 into turn one at Indy. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can tell that you've been doing it for a really long time, and you're really comfortable with what you're doing.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, it's So you were saying, you know, something about, you know, like helmets becoming commodities and things like that. Do you think that like the culture of like personalizing helmets have kind of changed? I mean, if there are more designers, it probably means that there are more people that are wanting to sort of express themselves through their helmets, right?
Yeah, and no, totally. And I think that's what's cool about this concept. It's like helping people to kind of break outside of their norms. You know what I mean? You know, there's been so many things in our society, you know, in the last, 5 years since COVID have happened that have kind of broken all of our minds apart of what's going on in the world around us. And I think until something like that happens, you don't really know of this new reality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I think it's the same thing with this. Like when I really took a step back and I started thinking about it, because as a designer, you're like, well, what can I do next? What's going to be the next style? What's going to be, the next popular color, the trend? And while all of that plays a role, it's not really doing anything new. You know what I mean? There's nothing new to it. And so I think that's the beauty of this, is it's a new way of looking at helmets. It's a new way of looking at helmet painting. It's a new way of creating a piece of art. And it's a new way for a driver to acquire art. Like how, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does it really matter? I mean, for example, a pair of Jordans, you know what I mean? Well, you don't go to Nike and say, hey, I want my Jordans to be like this, this, and that. Well, no, you go and buy what Jordans you like. You know what I mean? And same thing with clothes, and same thing with Gucci bags, or, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. Yeah. And so why not on a helmet? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be this cookie cutter.
No, totally. Yeah. And this helmet, the Stilo helmet, is the top of the line helmet, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's their new.
It has
ST6.
everything, right? It's got the comms and like the water. Everything is already built into it.
Yes, right? That's one thing that Stilo, I think, has done a fantastic job with their helmets. Even like it started with the ST4, 2 models, before this, then the ST5,
this is the ST6,
and now this is the ST6. Yeah, they've had these built-in. They call it GT versions where everything plugs in nice and cleanly into the helmet.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, all the other helmet manufacturers, it's kind of an add-on that it's got to hang off the jaw.
Right. Or you
know
got to
what I mean?
drill a hole or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
which do not drill holes in your helmet. It won't pass tech these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's where I really love how they've kind of evolved their helmets, because the ST4 compared to this is a much nicer helmet. It flows better. Everything fits nice.
Yeah.
It's built really well. They're light. The Stilos are definitely the lightest helmets out there, I would say. When you pick up one of their Zero helmets, I mean, it weighs, I think, maybe 2.3 pounds.
Wow.
They're super light.
Yeah.
So obviously for endurance racing, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
And you completely disassemble it, right? Like, and you take everything out and
because I don't want to get paint on stuff, you know, like trims and stuff like that. Like, to me, it's the worst when you see, you know, somebody masked on the trim, the rubber trim, and you get that edge that's just like, it's like, dude, take it off. Trims, you can buy trims back from the manufacturer and replace it so they don't fall off. And, you know, so yeah, it's all those things. To me, it's very important. You know, even when you're gluing the trims on, like, don't get glue all over the place.
Right.
You know, you went through all this trouble. Like, just take your time. You know, make it as perfect as you can.
No, it looks pretty perfect from where I'm looking at.
Thanks, dude.
So this is the 01. Are you thinking about, like, how do you think you want to roll out the second and the third versions from here on,
so,
as a collection, right?
So yeah, I mean, so that's the thing as we go. You know, people can contact us, you know, through our website or give us a call or whatnot, you know, and commission the next version, which would be fine. Or, you know, I'll just start creating the next one right away and we'll just see what happens. I think that's the cool thing about this. I don't have any pressure on myself about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just going to let, quote unquote, let God take the reins on this. And, you know, I'm just going to do the best I can, show up and create something. And if people are into it, cool.
Yeah,
you know,
no, this is super cool. I mean, it comes with, you launched a apparel and sort of a merch line along with it, which is super cool. It comes, you got mugs, right?
Yeah,
right?
the mugs,
black and white design. You have t-shirts too.
Yeah. No, and I think that's the thing that's cool, because it allows more people to kind of be a part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because not everybody can have this, you know?
No.
Obviously. Yeah. And so, I mean,
everybody races too, right? Themselves.
Yeah. And I mean, but yeah, somebody can go buy a cool hat or, you know, and I think they're pretty cool. And, you know, I've got like a little, you know, label on them that says, you know, Canvas Project and Stilo BKD.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Cool. Yeah. The dad hat.
Yeah, the dad hat.
Which is canvas too, by the way.
Yeah, perfect.
Canvas dad hat.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's fun. It was fun to put together, and you know, and the mugs, I mean, you know, everything, all of it was just kind of fun to do. And you know, we'll have it all on bretkingdesign.com. You can purchase it, but it is definitely going to be a limited launch of stuff.
Right. Yeah,
you know?
No, totally.
So
they're limited, so you better go pick them up. Where do people go to pick these? bretkingdesign.com?
Yeah, bretkingdesign.com. Okay. We got our site. You can just buy stuff off it there.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. We have a segment on the podcast which we call the Creative Drive Rapid Fire Round. We have a couple questions for you.
No pressure.
Just whatever comes to mind. Answer without really thinking too much about it.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So, which racing hero would you like to paint for?
Helmet?
Yeah.
I mean, I think doing a helmet for Lewis would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like Lewis because of his story. I think, you know, coming up as a kid and being such a prodigy and his journey has been really cool to watch. And he loves fashion.
Yeah,
and
he does a lot of cool collabs too.
Yeah. So I think I'd say Lewis would be a good one.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have a racing series that you have not designed for yet but want to?
No. I mean, I've done a helmet in every series as far as I'm aware of. I mean, I did a helmet in F1 for Esteban Gutierrez in 2013. I mean, it'd be cool to have one now, but you know, if it happens, it happens.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, IndyCar, NASCAR, IMSA, all of it. V8 supercars, you know, Joey Hand when he was doing DTM. So, I mean, I've kind of had one in every series for the most part. Even motocross, AMA, you know, supercross. Justin Bogle I did some work with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Matte or gloss, if you had to choose?
Ooh, that's a tough question. Man, you're really putting the screws to me here. I guess I can't say. I'll just say gloss. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's go gloss.
Yeah, right.
It's easier to maintain.
I might know the answer to this, but a tool you cannot live without.
I mean, I would probably say a razor blade.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, it's so funny because I'll have razor blades at home, but it's like, dude, you got a baby now. You can't be leaving those things around.
No.
You know, it's so handy. You use it for anything. So, yeah.
All right. So if you were to create a movie-inspired helmet, what movie would that be?
Movie-inspired helmet. Holy mackerel, that's a good question. I love movies. I mean, I watch so many movies. My wife, I'm busting out movie lines constantly, and she's like, "What was that?" I was like, don't worry about it."
Yeah. It's like someone who grew up in the 80s and the 90s. You just gotta like bust out these like stupid, you know, movie quotes all the time. I think it's something in our generation that like, you know, like,
pretty much. I don't know. This might be a controversial one, but because of the art would be so crazy, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas would be pretty funny.
Yeah,
one.
no, that's a good movie.
That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah,
one.
No, that'd be a wild helmet.
It would be.
Yeah.
And the fact that I'm living in Las Vegas is, you know, kind of hilarious at the same time. So,
all right. If you could design a helmet for anyone, doesn't have to be a race car driver. Who would it be?
That's a tough one. I'm a big Joe Rogan podcast listener.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun to do one for him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because, you know, listening to his podcast, you know, he appreciates art.
Yes.
And I know he's mentioned in the past that he's into like the old comic books and some creep crawly one or something like that. I've never really looked at it, but he'd be a pretty cool guy to do something for.
Apparently he's got a wild art collection in his studio.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear about that, right?
Yeah, because you always hear about the guests, like they never show this part.
Yeah.
Right, but it's like he apparently he's got a lot of great art.
Yeah, no, I've heard people say that when they walk in there. It's just like insane.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
All right, cool. Yeah, Joe Rogan. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Our last segment is called Who's Boostin' It?
Oh.
I want to know who you think is boosting it right now as a creator or artist, designer, anyone, a creator, a brand, and an event.
Creator.
So let's start with creator. Who do you think's killing it right now as a creator?
In any field or any form? Oh man, dude, that's a good question. I do not know, because I have multiple people that I would think of. Oh, dude, I think you've got me stumped here.
Like, who do you follow on Instagram like all the time and say, man, this guy's like killing it?
I mean, there's a few guys. I mean, I would say one guy that I actually really like, and I haven't really spoken on him before, is Philippe Pantone. I think that guy creates some really cool stuff.
Okay.
He's definitely got his own style and vibe, but he does some really neat work.
I gotta check him out.
Yeah, he's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Arsham creates some really cool stuff as well, obviously. Brand, that's a tough one. I mean, I really love Kith as a brand.
Yeah.
I think Kith does such a cool job with their collaborations.
Yes, they do great collabs.
Yeah, I mean the BMW thing, you know, was super cool. I mean, they just did the cigarette boat thing, which is like so random, but you know, and all of their merch, their apparel at least. And, it's cool. Yeah. You know, I think they do a fantastic job.
Yeah, that's great. Like a lot of the brands that are doing cool collabs are probably the ones that are really doing good right now. Because they're open-minded, I think, you know, about like collaborating with like these random, you know, streetwear brands or like anything like that has like kind of out of left field.
Yep.
Yeah. Right.
No, exactly. Yeah. When Tiff and I went out to New York, 2 summers ago, we went to their headquarters in Williamsburg, and because I'd seen photos of it, you know, and it was pretty new. But yeah, I got to hang out and talk with one of the guys there. He was a manager. His name was Justin. Super cool guy. And but it was cool, like hearing kind of the behind the scenes and stuff. And Ronnie Feig, you know, obviously he's done such a fantastic job building that brand. And then hearing a couple of numbers, you know, that Justin spit out about their sales and stuff like that at like their Soho. Right. You know, I was like, damn, like, dude, they're just crushing it. Right. You know, and then they open all these beautiful stores all around the world. I mean, it's super cool.
Definitely boosting it.
Yeah.
All right. How about events?
Events?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, F1 has really done a fantastic job. Right. I think since they got bought out, you know, it's just, they've done incredible. I mean, the whole Netflix thing. Yeah. I mean, look what that's done for racing in the U.S. Yeah. I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, you know, I've got like my wife's dad and mom, like they watch Formula One racing now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which is super cool. Yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, Lewis has got it this year. You know what I mean? Or so-and-so's doing really well. So it's really cool to see how F1 has really flourished, you know, in their branding and their marketing, and they've done a fantastic job.
Yeah. So. In the U.S., especially with Netflix, right? So they got people that you would never dream of, you know, that would be into motorsports are now following, and they're like, you know, they know drivers, you know, first name basis now, right? Oh yeah. It was like, where did this come from? It's like, well, don't you watch Drive to Survive? You know?
Yeah, because that wasn't the case 10 years ago. No, you know, let alone 20.
Americans didn't care about Formula One. No, and now the movie, so it's like, you know, off the hook now.
Well, and that's I have yet to watch it. I can't wait.
Oh my God, you got to watch it.
Yeah, I heard it's really, really good. Yeah. So I definitely got that on the list of things to do.
Racers in the movie, by the way.
I heard. Actually, I saw that.
It was a surprise.
Yeah, it had the magazine cover and that Javier, what's his name? Javier Bardem. Yeah. Dude, that guy's such a great actor.
Yeah, no, he's.
And so I'm excited to watch.
Yeah, no, you got to see that movie. Watch it in IMAX too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You have to watch it in IMAX. Yeah,
yeah. I heard it's loud and just it's awesome. Crazy.
Yeah. You have to go watch it. All right. Well, Brett, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah,
I mean,
thank
congratulations on this. I mean, it's an awesome project. We're 100% behind it. Go to brettkingdesign.com, guys, to pick up the merch too. And
please do.
So obviously, to see your work, go to brettkingdesign.com. What's your Instagram?
Just Brett King Design. So at Brett King Design.
Okay.
And you know, I don't post as much as I probably should, because these algorithms these days are just insane, and you know what I mean. But I try to keep on top of it, and you get to see like a lot of the behind the scenes.
I saw Rob Holland post right before Pikes Peak too. That was a really cool helmet that you designed for him too.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I've been working with Rob since we started the company. Really, there's a few guys like him that I've been working with. But yeah, Rob's great.
Yeah, we're working on a show for Racer Network for him too.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I mean, he's so great on camera. Yeah, you know? I mean, he's like born to be on camera. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Well, that video, because you know when we work with certain people, we'll have them do like an unboxing video. And it's so funny when he did his, because he'll do it at like the start or the finish line at Pikes or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is so good at talking. I mean, I was kind of laughing. He's like, oh, you need to do I'm like, well, I didn't need it to be that professional and polished, but you know, that's cool.
Yeah. No, but he talks like that though. When you actually meet him, he talks like he's ready for prime time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He always pulls me in on stuff that he's
Yeah,
doing,
that's great.
and
Yeah.
so yeah, I've done some liveries for him
Cool.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's been fun.
Awesome. Well, we warned you, so we have a question that we ask all of our guests. Since we call this podcast The Creative Drive. Brett King, what is your creative drive?
My creative drive would be to constantly evolve myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that trying to outthink the way that you do things, how you do things, just be better. You know what I mean? Be a better person, be a better designer, be a better dad, be a better husband. You know what I mean? And so that really is what drives my creativity, is trying to think outside of the box, trying not to copy other people. Don't let, people's opinions, taint or distract you from what you're doing. And just stick to your guns. You know what I mean? I think that's really the thing. When I started painting, I had a couple guys say to me, well, why don't you just paint stuff like this guy, that style? And I'm like, but that's not me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not why I'm doing this, So I think that's the thing. Yeah, just to the creativity and thinking outside the box and doing something new and constantly evolving is really what drives me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great answer.
So,
yeah.
Thank you.
You got to keep on evolving and be yourself.
Yeah.
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 Right.
You do.
Yeah.
You got to express yourself and you know what I mean? And enjoy your life and enjoy what you do. And you know what I mean? And, hopefully you can inspire other people to do better or be better or look at things differently. And yeah, so that's really it.
That's awesome. Well, Brett, congratulations on Canvas project.
Thank you.
And congratulations on your new baby as well.
Yes, he's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to meet you and finally talk to you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Thanks for being on the show.
Here. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Preston Folkestad from Stilo. Welcome to the Creative Drive.
Thank you so much. It's awesome to be here.
Yeah, usually we do our podcast interviews in the studio, but unfortunately you're in Texas today, so we'll just have to do with the remote recording we have today. But I'm glad to have you on the show, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been hopefully you had a great 4th of July. You could do any car activities?
A little bit, but not too much. But I was actually, checking out your Instagram. I was actually following you, which was like, oh, I follow him already. Because you have that Fox Body Mustang.
Yeah. Yeah, for people that don't know me, just kind of the industry insight. I've been around the automotive industry for quite some time. And I actually started more with my dad. But long story short, we've built a couple cars over the last couple of years. Been involved in SEMA. So in 2017, entered into the SEMA Young Guns competition with the C10, and ended up winning alongside a few others with that truck. And then after that truck, it was a pretty high-end, more show car, or show truck, I should say. But then it was like, it was a very sentimental truck. It was my great-grandpa's, and I actually drove that truck all the way through high school and college. And then to the point, we were trying to do more autocross and getting my feet a little wet and racing and things like that. And we're sorting out like, man, this would suck if we hit a cone. And for those that don't know, it's a candy paint scheme. So it's very difficult to touch up. So we're like, well, let's just build another truck. So we ended up building a race C10, and that really was the next evolution of the car building for us. So the Fox body was basically the brainchild of my dad, myself, another fellow Jim from Indie Power Products, Jim Ryder, and then Billy Johnson, if you're not familiar. So
Yeah. I know Billy.
four pretty aggressive minds coming together to build a pretty rowdy Fox body Mustang. So it's for those that haven't seen it, it's a 1988 Fox body Mustang with a 7.3 Godzilla in it with a supercharger. So it makes about 1,000 horsepower. It's a road race car. It's slammed to the ground, goes fast in basically any direction. So it's pretty
Nice.
fun.
Yeah, I remember your C10 truck actually. A couple of years ago, I remember talking to you at SEMA on that car. I think we shot a video. I forgot which brand it was for, but we were shooting some videos and we covered that car.
Was it for Nitto?
It might have been for Nitto, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It might, yeah. It was a while ago, but
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah. Great to
It's
connect with
actually
you.
this weekend. I don't know if you remember there was a motorcycle in the back of that truck. My dad ended up building that, and I was riding that around this weekend actually. It was still fun to be able to take those cars out and enjoy them. So
Oh, great. So, how did you start working for Stilo? When did that happen?
I started with the company about 2 years ago now, and kind of the opportunity arose to take on some different paths. So I've worked at my family's company for a few years, and just trying to take some time to try different things. I've always been kind of in the automotive space, but this position kind of happened, and really just took the bull by the horns on this one. So came on board as a Stilo product manager, and in my current role, I still work a lot on the Stilo items specifically. But in my current role, I'm the senior marketing manager over the entire safety division within Holley. So not only you're getting Stilo, but you're also getting Simpson Auto, Moto, RaceQuip, and Hans in that entire portfolio. So I have a pretty cool position at the moment because I'm getting touch points with all sorts of different types of brands, different types of people, all the way from grassroots circle track racers at like Boone Speedway in Iowa, all the way up to F1 clientele. So it's a pretty cool position, and a lot of really cool brands and people behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, and with your personal background, right? I mean, does that influence the way you're approaching your day-to-day?
Yeah, it's been super interesting. Again, growing up in a very small family-oriented business, I think that it gives a lot of insight into how businesses need to run, right? So it's been a pretty cool experience again, because I get to be a driver, if you will, of direction and change and aggressiveness, especially as we're really building these brands up. So for those who are not familiar, Holley is a pretty large organization, and they have over 60 brands within their portfolio. And the safety division itself, again, has just kind of grown over the last few years, and we've been able to grow a pretty cool team as well. But again, going back to being able to have this kind of small business mentality, be scrappy and really start to push things forward, it's been able to do more creative things with less, if that makes sense. So for example, we just got back from our first ever Simpson motorcycle dealer event. It was an international event, so we got to bring in international dealers from around the world. So you're talking about people from Italy, China, Argentina, to introduce them to the Simpson brand, but also give them visibility and have some collaborative discussions about the product line. So it was really, really fun and exciting for them, because that was an opportunity that they never had before. And it was almost like a pilgrimage for them, right? Like, if you know Simpson branding, I mean, it's been around since 1959, and we were just talking a few minutes ago about Bill Simpson himself as just being kind of this icon within the industry, right? So getting to share with our partners that history and who we are was, I think, extremely important. But also being able to have collaborative efforts and have true partner discussions about the future. It really allowed us to really look at the future with some serious positivity and new outcomes of how we're going to do things. So all to say, though, I think having the background that I do in the industry with some of the just historicals has been, it really puts me in a really unique and fun position within the company.
That's really cool. I remember Simpson was in Southern California for a very, very long time. And when I was pit reporting for the American Le Mans series, the fire suits were made by Simpson. They're branded Oakley, but Simpson was making them. So I went down to their shop in I think it was like in Carson or Torrance or somewhere like that. And I got fitted and, it was nice and, it wasn't off the racks. It was just like fitted for me. So it was a really good fit that I wore for 1 year, the big ESPN on my chest.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we still have that factory in California. I don't know if you,
really?
you know.
Cool.
So we have 3 locations really for Simpson specifically. So we have the California location, and then we have the Texas location, which is our main warehouse and where our helmet manufacturing is. And then we have a Mooresville, North Carolina location, which is more of a pro shop that handles like a lot of the NASCAR and circle track markets. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, and this is even something new for me when I first joined, is Simpson has an entire helmet production line in Texas, and probably is honestly one of the only helmet companies that has a U.S. production base currently, which is super, super cool and super unique.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So tell us about the Stilo brand a little bit. It is, you guys run the brand here in the U.S., but it is an Italian brand, right? Tell us about the tradition of the brand and things like that.
So Stilo, for those that don't know, Stilo is a pretty high-end helmet manufacturer, and they're based out of Bergamo, Italy. So they have over 25 years now of manufacturing experience, and really their professional roots are in rally racing, right? So the original rally racing is kind of that iconic open-face helmet with a little boom mic, right? But they were really the innovators and the drivers of that space, not only with helmet technology, but also intercom technology. So today, the manufacturing and the entire team is based still in Bergamo, Italy. We just moved to a new facility, which is beautiful. And I think it really shows the direction of the brand. But today's world, we service drivers and racers around the world. From still, we handle a significant amount of WRC racing, all the way to IMSA, NASCAR, F1 even, with a platform not only on fantastic helmets, but also the supporting integrated product lines as well. So what's really cool about Stilo is we have a model called the ST6 GT, which has integrated side ports, and that's something very unique to Stilo, and they were the real first to market with these designs. So these integrated side ports allow you to have different types of microphone systems, drink systems, air systems, etc., all working around the helmet itself. So from a brand perspective and just how we think about our product line is we really look at the helmet as not only being a protective device, but also a kind of a tool in the toolbox, right? So whether you're in an F1 car and you're trying to be the lightest weight as possible, all the way to a Baja truck where you're trying to have drink and air systems and everything work together, we really think of the helmet as a tool in the toolbox rather than just a singular piece of the product line. So
Cool.
But yeah.
How did the Canvas series project with Brett come about? Were you involved in the early talks of how the genesis of the project?
Yeah, so to dive into that a little bit, Brett King is a pretty well-known painter, designer. If I remember correctly, he's based out of California, but throughout the years...
Las Vegas now.
Oh, Las Vegas, okay.
Yeah.
But it's Genesis really stepped from, one, Brett has always been a fan of our product line, but he paints a lot of our helmets, right? So we started having some conversations about how we could really look at kind of style, design, and have kind of a collaborative effort around that idea, right? Again, like if you think about the roots of Stilo in Italian means style, right? So naturally there was a great fit just in the thought process. But all to say, we thought it would be a fantastic idea to bring not only a high-end product that has its own style and visual iconography itself, and collaborate with someone like Brett to use it as his canvas, right? And be able to express himself in a way that was meaningful and impactful in our industry. So to start that, it was super fun. Again, just to be part of that initial conversation of like, how do we how to bring an art project to life around a helmet, right? Especially with a lot of things going on in our automotive space and just the attraction that we're seeing in the automotive space in general. So,
Yeah. I mean, creative customization is definitely a trend that we're seeing in cars and even with helmets. I'm glad it's going that direction as well. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we started this podcast, right? The Creative Drive, because there's so much creativity happening in the automotive sector, and we wanted to really focus on that. What does that say about Stilo's brand, culture? Has Stilo always been, like you just mentioned, Stilo means style, Stilo. Has the brand always had that kind of stylistic, approach to its products and culture as a company?
I think so. I think one baseline is you have the Italian culture underlying, right? As a people, Italians are always very into the arts, right? And into fashion and being based so close to Milan, you have a lot of roots in like the fashion industry when you're thinking of craftsmanship and detail. So I think starting there, yes. But then I think as a culture, everyone that segments to who Stilo is as an identity definitely is, right? Like our core customer base is definitely the people that want to have, like, they identify with having a Stilo helmet because of that nature, right? Like, and you have such an iconic visual element. Like you see a couple of helmets behind me, you see one of those helmets and you're like, that is a Stilo helmet. No bar, no questions asked. So I think at our roots, it's been ingrained with us. And even today, our employees are into art. We share things just independently of like, look at how cool this art exhibit is, right? So that's super exciting. And even our communications team, Serena Santalamazza, like her background is kind of in the same space. So again, a lot of art, a lot of history there, and Italian culture is really the centerpiece of who Stilo is. And I think it reflects perfectly with this love space.
Most importantly, though, do you get to go to Italy?
Yeah, I've gone now once or twice. Once. We work very well together via Teams, which is great. But my time at Stilo has been fantastic. It was right after we moved to our new facility. So this was about 1.5 years ago. We had our larger celebration, not only for our anniversary, but our large dealer event. So through that, we released our ST6 line and then our WRX line. So it was really, really exciting because we rented out a whole racetrack, invited our international partners to come in and really not only introduce the new product lines, but also celebrate the anniversary and the new move. So it was a great time. But yes, I have visited Italy. What's also cool, backing up in time, I actually spent 6 months in Rome in college. So the Italian culture and just that whole area has always been something that I've really enjoyed and loved.
That's awesome. So from your side, what was the designing process like? Did Brett have free reign, or was there any like creative like brainstorming going back and forth between you guys, or how did that happen?
When we had some initial conversations, it was honestly very hands off, right? I think that, again, the helmet being the canvas, we wanted to supply him with the way to express himself, right? Like, I think Brett is not only, if you've seen any of his designs, they're very iconic in his own style. And he does a fantastic job of like on the IMSA grid, for example. I've gone to the 24-hour Daytona and you see every driver having a different style of helmet going on. But I definitely would say when you see a Brett King design, it's very in vogue of who he is. So the point of this process was really to let Brett express himself in the way that he wanted to.
Yeah, I saw just recently when we were covering Pikes Peak, Rob Holland, announced his helmet at the, it was a Brett King design right at on the mountain itself. But this Canvas series, I think it's the first one, Series 01. Is this a ST6 GT helmet as well?
I believe so, yes.
Cool. And so just moving forward, how do you envision this like collaboration in the future? Are you guys going to be doing more? You know, from a brand standpoint, what are your thoughts moving forward?
I think this is a great first step, right? Coming on board, there was a few different directions that we wanted to head. And I think, again, collaborating with key people and trying to lean into the cultural relevance is super important, right? Again, specifically about this, I think that there's definitely ways that we want to move forward with Brett and the rest of the team on these types of projects to bring them into life, whether it's doing another collaborative effort that way, or maybe even transitioning to highlight other artists of the nature, right? Like, again, what's cool about, again, my position is I get to interact with not only Brett, but a whole plethora of international painters. And I get to work on helmets at the same time. So sometimes I even see some of these helmets come across before anyone else sees them. And I'm like, this is so rad. Like I want to show the world before anyone, but it's, all to say though, I think this is a great first step in a, artistic expression, right? And as we move forward, the Canvas series is probably going to be a great platform, for Brett, ourselves, and anyone else who's involved in the whole series.
I think collaboration is sort of the name of the game now, where you see a bunch of like fashion brands, collaborating with automotive brands. How do you feel about like, motorsports and safety gear that you guys do, collaborating with lifestyle and the design community? What is your approach, and how do you select like who you're going to be working with next?
From a technical point of view, or from just an
from a brand, from brand overall? I mean, technical too, if that even has any factor in deciding. Yeah.
So I think it comes down to the product that we're trying to solve for at the beginning, right? So you kind of have an idea of form follows function, but then on top of that, you have a layer of who the brand is, right? So for example, a Simpson helmet is going to be completely different than a Stilo helmet. And when you start segmenting those things across, then we start trying to identify, like, what are we trying to solve for? So for example, you brought up the Oakley suit, right? And that was really the idea of how do we, and it came from, if I remember correctly, Howie Idelson is really the designer behind that product line. And funny enough, we just were talking to Howie a couple of weeks ago about suits and a variety of different things.
Oh, cool.
Very small world. But when we started thinking about like those core products, it's like, how do we involve either someone outside of our kind of bubble to take inspiration, whether it be fashion or complete new innovations in technology, and build a system around that. So like for suits, obviously the natural progression is like, let's go talk to Nike, let's go talk to Puma, or some of these companies that have a lot of resource and history specifically in shoes, and say, hey, how do we collaborate on a shoe that not only is the safest, provides the best feel, or is the lightest weight, but also is produced in a way that isn't just a Me Too product, right? I think that within the safety division, or safety community, in the last 5-10 years, things have kind of stalled from an innovation point of view. I would say that we, as a company, as a business unit, are really trying to have eyes on how we innovate in the industry, in our segments, right? So with all to say, in that collaborative environment, it's really trying to identify people that can be a toolkit for us, right? So these guys might over here might have a idea or technology that we're interested in, and we want to use those tools and assets to then build a system that's going to work for us. And then on the other side, we can have kind of the lifestyle, the sex appeal, or the style, or lightweight fabrics, or new stretchy fabrics, or something along those lines. So I think that's probably the easiest way to explain it, is like, there's so many different tools out there that people realize are there. But we have so much access with all the brands, which is super fun.
That's cool. And how many brands did you say Holley owns now? 60 brands?
Across the entire organization, I think we're up to 70. But within the safety business unit, there's technically 5.
Five. And which are the safety equipment so
So you have RaceQuip, RaceQuip, and then you have Simpson Auto and Simpson Motorcycle. And then you have Hans, which is the head and neck restraint systems, and you have Stilo.
Wow. Okay.
So we produce everything from helmets, suits, harnesses, drag parachutes, head and neck restraints, seats, window nets. The list goes on and on. And we have, again, it's so unique because I don't think I would go out on a limb and say that we're unmatched in the variety of products that we make and the consumers that have touch points with across the world.
Okay, great. All right. Preston, thanks so much for your time today. We have a little segment here that I want to get your thoughts on. So it's called Boostin' It. Who's boosting it? I want to know a creator that you think is like really hot right now, an event, any event, and a brand that is hot right now. This segment is called Who's Boosting It? So let's start with creator. Which creator doesn't have to be auto, any creator that you think is just killing it right now?
I would say, and not to spoil her in the sense that I work with her directly a lot right now, is Anna Glennon. She's known on as Jet Girl on Instagram. But I think that as a creator, one, she's a great girl. Has a background in jet skiing, but she's racing in the E1 series.
Okay.
But the way she's really blocking and tackling content and how she presents herself globally is really impressive to me.
What is she doing different from the other creators that you've seen?
I don't know if it's necessarily different, but I think that there's a level of authenticity in who she is. And I think that comes across in everything that she's doing. So it doesn't always feel, I feel like on social media these days and like YouTube, it can come across as a little bit of product placement heavy, right? And I think what, when we started working with her is just like the idea that she was just authentic to herself, right? Like, she comes from, an awesome background. She's raced, but she's very hands-on with everything that she does. And now she had the opportunity to go race with Team Miami in the E1 series. And again, she's hands-on there, but is so open to who she is and authentic to herself. So I would say the hands down and my hat's off to her.
Yeah, authenticity is very much key for sure. Which events do you think are killing it right now? Who's boosting it?
Can I say the Holley events?
Hey, there are events, of course.
I mean, I have the pro of being able to sit inside the groups and have some conversations about the events and how safety and all these other brands interact. But I would say that over the course of the last few years, the Holley team and like identifiably Bill Titchener on the team have really started to amplify what these events are. So if you've never been to an LS event or like a Ford Fest event, they are an entire weekend of enthusiasts on steroids, right? So whether it's like the LS events, you'll have burnout wars, you'll have autocross, you'll have road racing going on, you'll have drag racing going on at some of these events. I think that they do a fantastic job of really bringing everyone together in a event space and sharing that enthusiasm, but also doing it in a way where people are engaged the entire weekend. So if I was going to say anyone else, I would say the Grid Life events have been fantastic to be a part of as well. But truly the Holley events are something that if you've never been to one, they are 100%, you need to add it to your schedule.
Great answer. Brand. Which brand do you think is boosting it now?
Trying to think here. You know, I'm gonna say, and My colleagues might smack my hand for it, but I would say one of our competitors, Alpine Stars, does a fantastic job. They have a large breadth of different customers, and I think that they do a fantastic job at storytelling that is authentic across all different platforms, whether that be the motocross industry or the racing industry. They really knock it out of the park. I would say from when I think about branding and marketing and everything like that, to me, they're the benchmark of who I'm trying to compete with, right? And I think that friendly competition is always great. And I think that it always brings another level of innovation to storytelling or even marketing, right? But I think they're killing it. And I think that's a respectful way to probably do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you got to respect your competitors, right? That's where it starts first, right? All right. Well, thanks so much for your time, and congratulations on the release of the Canvas series. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's a great idea. We're going to be talking to Brett in a little bit as well. But yeah, great idea. And lastly, how do people follow you and keep up with what you and Stilo are doing?
Yeah, so the Stilo channel has their 2 Instagram handles, Stilo USA and Stilo Official. So follow us there. We're sharing a variety of content from all different types of racing, and also providing a lot of product education. Myself personally, on Instagram, my handle is CA_Preston. If you're into this kind of rowdy cars and building stuff, I'm currently working back on the Fox body and the Race E10. So hopefully we'll be campaigning those going into 2026. But we've got a lot of cool, I have a lot of cool personal projects that I'm working on right now. So that's kind of the plan for myself. And then the rest of the Holley organization, whether it's Simpson, Hans, RaceQuip, all those brands also have all their own social media. So check them out. Yeah.
Cool. I almost forgot to ask you. This is the most important question. What is your creative drive?
My creative drive? Art. And just expressing ourselves. We never really touched on it, but my background is actually in graphic design, with the emphasis in just automotive art. So I think that one, authenticity matters, being whether it's on paper, how you communicate, and even the brands, being true to yourself is most important. And the creative drive behind that is really to produce things that are true to yourself. And I think that people will latch on to that if you are true to yourself and you know your roots and you're passionate about it. So that's what drives me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Preston. Thanks for your time, and good luck in the future.
All right. Thank you, sir. Great talking.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching and listening to The Creative Drive, where we offer listeners a candid look into the minds of automotive creators and their journeys. The Creative Drive is available on all podcast platforms, and we have more awesome guests lined up for you guys, so please subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. If you're interested in partnering with us, or if you have any feedback, please email us at podcast@racer.com or DM us in our Instagram. The Creative Drive is produced by Molly Binks from Racer Studio, directed by TJ Keon, creative director George Tamayo, and edited by Andrew Snyder. We've got new Nick, OG Nick, and Morgan on the socials. I'm your host, Taro Koki. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next time.